Hey, this is Jason with AIReviewers.com, and today we're going to be doing a review of some Wordplay.ai output. Now, we use the guided tool for this output. There are several other tools that you can use, including title mode, where you simply feed it a title. Guided mode is the most popular tool inside of Wordplay, and while it's not one click, it does allow you to create content in just a few clicks of the mouse. So we use the same exact title that we are using to test a variety of other long-form text generation tools. And we're going to be testing Wordplay's capabilities out in 4 different niches. In this video, we'll specifically be taking a look at content created for the gardening niche. Now be sure to watch all the way until the end, because at the end of the video, we're going to be running the output through a brand new AI content detection and plagiarism scanner to see how Wordplay's content scores. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the article. Here is the article that was produced, and it's a little bit shorter in length than some of the content produced by other long-form tools. Word count came in at 736 words, 4,134 characters. Now we're going to go ahead and read through this article to see how it looks. And I'm going to go ahead and make comments along the way if there's anything that stands out. So jumping right in, the title of this piece is The Beginner's Guide to Succulent Gardening, What You Need to Know Before You Start. If you've ever had a dreary winter garden, or even if you just like some color in your life, succulent gardening is the answer for you. Succulent plants are low maintenance and require little care. They thrive in almost any soil conditions and can grow well indoors too. This article will cover everything you need to know about succulent gardening, including the best plants for beginners, how to grow them successfully, and tips for taking it to the next level. What is a succulent? A succulent is a plant with fleshy leaves that store water in their tissues. These plants are able to survive droughts and are low maintenance because of the stored water. There are 2 types of succulents, hardy succulents and tender succulents. Hardy succulents include cactus, agaves, yuccas, and winter jacaranda, while tender succulents include aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums. Okay, so far so good with the output. How do you grow succulents from seed? To grow succulents from seed, simply plant them in a pot and watch them grow. Most plants will bloom within 6 to 8 weeks, so if you want to make sure your plant blooms, give it as much light as possible. Although most plants will flower within 6 to 8 weeks, some varieties might take a few months longer to flower. One of the best tips for growing succulents is choosing a pot with holes in the bottom. This allows water and nutrients to seep through the bottom of the pot more easily and encourage more growth. Which succulents are best for beginners? For beginners, you can start off with one of the most popular house plants, and that's the jade plant. Other good choices for beginners are aloe plants, weeping fig, elephant ears, and cacti. How do you propagate succulents? There are 2 main ways to propagate succulents. You can either start from seed or cuttings. Some plants will not grow from a cutting, but most will. For some of the more popular succulents, like the sedum hybrids, there is an entire list of propagating methods on the plant's tag. If your plant does not have a tag with this information on it, you can find this information online. One way to propagate succulents is by taking a cutting of one plant and growing it into a new plant that shares traits with the parent plant, and then dividing it as needed. This method is usually used for small succulent plants that don't require much care and prefer to grow away from their siblings. The other way of propagating succulents is by taking cuttings from a mother plant in order to grow them into new plants and eventually divide those into even more plants. This method is often used for larger plants that don't want to be crowded out or just need more space to spread out. One thing you'll need before starting your succulent garden is soil drainage, so you won't have water problems in your garden or house plants eventually die because they are too wet in your home environment. The next section says tips for taking your succulent gardening to the next level. Once you have a successful succulent garden, it's time to take it to the next level. The best way to do this is by making sure that your plants are well maintained and watered after they've started blooming. This will ensure that they will flower again next year. You should also consider adding some moss to your garden in order to add more color and beauty. It will also help with drainage and water retention in the soil so your plants don't get too waterlogged. The final step is to create a good base for your succulent so that they can thrive over the years. This can be done by mulching with bark or using a cactus mix. You can also make some raised beds if you want and plant in there so that you have easier access on top of them for watering, or just for placement if you want to move them around later on. And the conclusion, a succulent garden is a great way to enjoy the beauty of nature and learn about some fascinating plants. If you're new to the plant world and want to jump in, take the time to read up on the basics of succulent gardening to make sure you're making the best decision for your home. So overall, this output I think is really, really good. You don't see a lot of the repetition that you see with other one-click tools. Everything is pretty on point in terms of relevancy. And overall, this is a really good base. Although it is a bit shorter than the output that we normally see from these tools, again, it does not include all of the repetition, which would need to be pruned out anyway. So overall, as I mentioned, this is a really good base that you can use to quickly build into a much larger article, or you could simply publish it as is. So now let's grab the content and we will bounce on over to Originality AI and paste our article right in to the field and do the scan. Now, this is a brand new tool that was just released a few weeks ago. It is a 2-in-1 scanner. Not only does it scan for uniqueness and plagiarism, but it also scans for AI content detection. So this is great for really two different use cases. Number one, if you're using AI to generate content and you want to still fly under the radar, you can use this to scan your content and then rescan it after you've gone in and made edits to it. It's a good way to ensure that your content is coming off as written by humans versus created by an AI writing tool. And the second use case, which is really great for this tool, is if you manage a team of writers. If you're doing outsourcing and you want to make sure that your writers are being honest and they're actually working and writing and not simply running inputs through AI writing tools to generate content, then you can run the content that your writers are producing through this tool, and it's extremely accurate. And it will tell you with a high degree of accuracy whether or not the content was actually produced by an AI writing platform. So in this case, we see that the content scored with a 97% AI score and 3% original. So Originality AI picked up on the fact that this article was in fact written by an AI writing tool. So once you go in and make your edits and you add some additional sections and content to the article, you can come back and rescan and that score should improve. As far as plagiarism goes, this came back with 12% plagiarism, which we would definitely go through and make those edits to drop that down to 0. In the lower portion of the screen, you see several links to websites where Originality AI picked up some plagiarism from. You can click on the view button and find the exact section from these websites that it picked up as a hit for plagiarism. So that'll tell you exactly what you need to edit in the original article to reduce this score down to 0. So that's it for this test of Wordplay's guided mode. I hope this video was helpful for you in showing you the type of output Wordplay is capable of producing in the gardening niche. If the video was helpful, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing if you've got any interest at all in AI writing tools or artificial intelligence powered content creation. You'll definitely want to check out what we have coming. Also, if you have any questions at all about Wordplay.ai or Originality AI, just post those questions in the comments area below. We'll do our best to get your questions answered. And if you have any feedback about this video, good or bad, was there anything that you would like to see improved, included in future videos, please share those thoughts with us below. We want to make sure that these videos are as helpful for you guys as possible in showing what these different tools can do. So that's it for today. Until next time, happy writing.